Braced for transport chaos, national and suburban rail stoppage imminent. Those controversial county GDP figures make them public, says the minister. President Yeltsin's failing health, Sino-Russian summit held in hospital. And keep your potholes, the DUP respond to that prediction of a united Ireland. Good evening and welcome. With less than 3 hours to go to a national rail stoppage, transport chaos is predicted tomorrow as train drivers ring in sick in a dispute over overtime and allowances. Despite calls from CIE's chairman to call off the action, 300 drivers will take sick leave from midnight, shutting down national and suburban rail services. There has been widespread condemnation of the action.
Despite talks yesterday, the unofficial action by the rail drivers seems set to go ahead tomorrow, and this morning there was no movement from either side. The main union representing drivers is clear who's to blame.
Stop issuing misinformation in regard to this matter. We cannot stand idly by and allow our members to lose £200 a week. That's certainly not acceptable, and it can't happen, and that's the difficulty. Now, the company have been stating that they're offering people £28,500 for 48 hours. There's only 2 drivers in the whole system that would get that. So nothing is happening. The management are sitting over there doing nothing.
But Iarnród Éireann say negotiations have not broken down.
We have exercised our responsibility in responding to the negotiating process. We have clearly said that we accept the format of a proposal that was put by the Labour Relations Commission yesterday. We're in negotiation mode and we want those negotiations to take place.
In Galway, the mayor pleaded with the rail drivers to call off their action.
In the west, in Galway, we have as many as 22 trains using the system every day. That includes freight trains as well as passenger trains. And so, of course, business is going to be affected in a very big way. And it's a very bad time of the year as well for this to happen to us.
Throughout the afternoon, there were several attempts behind the scenes to avert tomorrow's stoppage. However, they were unsuccessful. As one union leader said, this dispute has now developed an unstoppable momentum. By tomorrow morning, 60,000 passengers here in Dublin on the Dart and nationwide will be facing traffic chaos. Aileen O'Mara, RTE News at Sydney Parade Dart Station.
And we're joined from Connolly Station by Iarnród Éireann spokesman Barry Kenny. You're welcome. Barry, what, if any, kind of rail service can we hope for tomorrow?
Well, obviously, given the nature of the disruption, this calling in sick, it is quite difficult to quantify exactly. But at this moment in time, it is looking as if we're heading for massive disruption across the entire system. We don't anticipate that we'll be able to offer any Dart services whatsoever. The outer suburbans are going to be severely curtailed with only a handful of services operating. And the intercity services all across the country, we cannot guarantee any individual service at this point in time. Having said that, it's not too late for drivers to reconsider what they're going to do, because there's 120,000 passenger journeys made in our system every weekday, and they're just people who want to go about their business, and we want to be in a position to provide that service tomorrow.
Well, we've heard the union side being very pessimistic there in that report. At this almost 11th hour, is there any hope at all of any form of intervention?
It's just not looking good at all, as I say. I mean, all we can say is that this is not going to benefit anybody, and we say that to the drivers. This isn't going to benefit anybody. It doesn't benefit any difficulties that they may have with the negotiations that are ongoing at the moment. It doesn't benefit the company. It doesn't benefit, as I say, those tens of thousands of customers. There's negotiations there. We have a format which we've accepted, being proposed by the LRC. The unions are considering that on Thursday. This is a dispute and an unofficial action with absolutely no justification whatsoever, and it really should not go ahead. It's just not on to disrupt people in this way.
Well, it's an unofficial action, but it's also an indicator, obviously, of very troubled industrial relations. Is it an omen of more to come?
I sincerely hope not. I mean, we have had a difficulty in as much as there has been implicit support for this action from the trade unions, and it's very, very difficult. When we have trade unions who are involved in negotiations, it's important they come out clearly and say to their members, as we're saying to the drivers, that an unofficial action is unacceptable. Unfortunately, that clear statement hasn't been forthcoming today, and we're now facing into a day of severe disruption for all of our customers for no good reason whatsoever.
Well, can you offer any practical advice at all to people trying to get to work tomorrow?
Well, I can't imagine what the roads are going to be like, particularly in the urban areas. Obviously, people will have to consider alternative means. I would advise people to listen to both local and national radio in the morning. We'll be informing the radio stations from very early on, as soon as we have an indication of exactly what services will be operating.
Barry, thank you for joining us.